驚いた。もしもの話って本当にあるのね。
Hello and welcome back to Fate Stay Night. I actually don't really know if this is technically Rialto Nua, or however you pronounce that, or if this is just a patch using some of its assets that was added along with the English stuff. So I'm just going to call it Fate Stay Night via, and I don't know which one it is, and honestly it doesn't really matter much because this is the one I have.
私も驚いている。いや、何事もケチをつけておくものだな。思わぬところで役に立った。
Did it now? Last time we came to school, not expecting anything. As soon as we pass the school gate, we joke around like that. Around us are students heading to classrooms. It's almost time for homeroom. Oh, that was a joke. Man, I really got that. In the crowd of people rushing into the school buildings, we stand dumbfounded.
空気がよどんでるどころの話じゃない。これ、もう結界が張られてない。
Okay, so there actually is something.
完全にではないが、すでに準備は始まっているようだな。ここまで派手にやっているということは、よほ
とんでもない素人ね。異常を感じさせる結界なんて三流だもの。やるんなら仕掛ける時まで隠し通しておくのが一流よ。
で、君はどちらだと思う？
さあ、一流だろうが三流だろうが知ったことじゃないわ。
Wouldn't it be really easy to pull someone in and be like, oh, I'm doing this like really bad magic. It's a trap. I want to keep your guard down. Because normally you'd have your guard up. But as soon as you're like, oh, okay, the person's going after me is this weak little something. And they're like, oh, I just made you think that. That'd actually not be a bad idea. Ooh, we should do that at some point.
私のテリトリーでこんなゲスなもの仕掛けたやつなんて問答無用でぶっ倒すだけよ。
I walk angrily through the schoolyard. As a magus, I'm not about to mince words, but I can't be satisfied until I properly punish the creator of this boundary field. Not really sure what a boundary field is. I'm not sure if it's like just stating territory or if it actually does something. After second period, while walking back from the music room, I see a first-year student walking unsteadily. The student is carrying some stacks of paper and is looking like she's having trouble.
手伝うわ、さくら。
Oh, she's the one that was with the... whatever his name is.
遠坂先輩。何、プリント？世界史って言ったらうちの担任じゃない。クズキのやつ、女生徒に使いをさせるなんて何考えてんだか。はい、ありがとうございます、先輩。いいっていいって。それじゃあこれ、さくらのクラスまで？クズキ先生のところです。誤字があったから回収するって言ってました。
Was that bad? Damn.
納得。クズキは融通きかないからね。一つ誤字があったぐらいで試験を中止させるやつだった。試験って学校の試験をですか？そう、あれは去年の中間試験だったかな。みんながガーッとマークシートを塗りつぶしてる時にやってきてね。誤字があるので正しい問題ではなかった。よって試験は中止。後日改めて行うってあの調子で淡々と言ったのよ。なんかくずき先生らしいですね。それ先生、ものを教える立場に間違いは許されないって人ですから。
So she's with him. She's probably a magus. Maybe that's who. So the problem wasn't that the other magus in the area was just incompetent. It was that they didn't have much magical power. Alright.
クズキのは度が過ぎてるけどね。さくらもそのうち思い知るわよ。クズキの堅物ぶりったら岩か山かって感じなんだから。
It is interesting that the uniform does sort of cover the palm of her hands, and she is covering it with her other hand too. Actually, is there any?
遠坂先輩、久月先生のことが好きなんですね。
Is there any?
そんな風に言うなんて珍しいです。
Oh my. Maybe you're just familiar with him, or she is. I wonder if there are any shots of her showing. Let's see, her right hands.
そう？まあ確かに久月はもうちょっと柔軟性があればなって思うけど。
I think that, but I also think he's not bad this way. At our school, there's a teacher liked by all students and a teacher feared by all the students. The balance between the two works so well, I think. Kizuki-sensei is a good disciplinarian. He's the stick in the carrots and the stick approach. Stick in the carrot and stick approach. I don't know what that is.
まあ2年になればもっと久月と顔を合わせるようになるわ。あいつは倫理も受け持ってるし。
Is it Kirei? Or how do you pronounce his name?
そんなことよりさくら、ちょっと聞きたいことがあるんだけど、いい？
As a side note, I'm still recording ahead, so this is actually before. At the moment, this is before even first episode releases, so yeah.
何ですか、先輩？昨日の話なんだけど、さくら、見かけない外国人と話してなかった？見てたんですか、先輩？
Ooh, she's not covering it anymore, but it's out of view.
たまたま。それであれ何だったの？知り合い？
Actually, isn't her arm sort of weirdly long at the moment in that view?
いいえ、それがそのよくわからない人だったんです。あの人、道に迷ってたみたいでした。
Yeah, she's covering it. So, oh no, she actually gives the covering after she was like, I can't. I'm making this excuse and stuff, and yeah, I'm running. All right. She's covering it again though. Maybe I'm just focusing on this, and it's absolutely nothing.
そっか。ごめんなさい。少しだけ気になったから。いえ、構いません。その、ここまででいいです、先輩。あとは届けるだけですから。
Oh, I thought she physically ran away. Okay, never mind. Okay, she just meant like mentally.
そう？それじゃ。
I pass the handouts back to Sakura. As I start to head back to my classroom, I pause.
さくら、最近はどう？はい、大丈夫。元気です、私。そう。シンジがまた何かやったら言いなさい。あいつはどってものを知らないから。黙っていると悪化する一方よ。
You know, now that I think about it, I think there was something I thought of during editing that I was thinking, that's an interesting thought. And I don't remember what it is anymore. If I remember it, I'll bring it up, but I don't remember what it is. Shoot. God, I should write these things down sometimes.
心配いりませんよ、先輩。兄さん、この頃は優しいんですから。
If she says that with such a smile, I can't say anything else. Lisa, okay. I bid her goodbye once more and turn my back on the familiar junior. Well, she obviously knows him or her in a more personal capacity, making it more likely that she's the, she has a Nissan too, so there's probably multiple of them. The day ends. Students leave the classroom and the building gets darker by the second. The sun will set soon. When the red sun sets and the night falls, there should be no one left in the school.
始めるわよ、あーちゃん。まずは結界の下調べ。どんな結界かを調べてから消すか残すか決めましょう。
I address my invisible partner. Archer must understand as I sense him nodding. A boundary field is something that protects the caster. Okay, we're going into it now. You could call it geographical magic, in which one knits a line of magic across the land to change the interior. Infinite different effects are possible within a boundary field. There are all sorts of boundary fields, from ones that conceals the area from people's eyes, to ones that limit the use of magic within them. The most aggressive of all are those that oppress life forms within them. The boundary field laid out over our schools of that kind. It's not yet complete, but once it is, everyone in the school should fall unconscious. Something like that won't affect me. After a boundary field is something targeted not at me, but at the place I am in. Such an indirect magical energy intervention has no effect on magi who have magical energy throughout their bodies. A weak current floating through the air will only be repelled by a strong current like myself. So, this boundary field has a different intention. I don't know what kind of person set up this boundary field, but its intention is not to defeat a master. Maybe. It's hard to believe, but its target is everyone in the school. Well, there are less direct routes to defeating a master, so yeah. There's only one reason to do something like that. Unbelievably, this guy is... I search the school building and emerge on the rooftop to finish. It's dark outside. It's 8 o'clock now, way past the school closing time, which is 6. The only people still in the school are me and Archer.
これで7つ目か。とりあえずここが起点みたいね。
An 8-stroke mark is openly drawn on the rooftop. This purplish red character, only visible to magi, is something I've never seen before, engraved with something unknown.
参ったな。これ私の手には負えない。
The person set the boundary field didn't think about anything. Right, but maybe they knew no one could do anything about it. He didn't think, but the boundary field is bound with amazing skill. I can temporarily drain magical energy from this boundary field, but I cannot eliminate the boundary field itself. The boundary field can just be reactivated just by having the caster pull more magical energy into it again. Okay, so if this goes off and everyone faints except the other magus, then it'll be pretty obvious who else in the school is the other magus. Well, other than the fact that whoever did this is probably the person or related to them. Archer says nothing. He's been quiet ever since we came onto the rooftop, probably because he too recognizes the power of the boundary field. The boundary field just doesn't just drain one's strength. Once activated, it will literally dissolve all the people within it. Really? There are boundary fields that drain physical and mental strength from people within them, but the boundary field laid out over the school is on a completely different level. It is a soul eater. It is a blood fort that dissolves people within it and claims the souls that seep out. Since ancient times, souls have been hard to handle. Okay, even though they're believed to exist and are necessary for magic, only one magist that understood the soul. Souls are things to be investigated, things to be moved into containers. It's incomprehensible not to merely suck them out, but also to collect them in a single place. Because the magist has no use for them, even if one were to collect this unconvertible energy. So, if there's a reason, it must be.
Archer, あなたたちってそういうもの?
I ask coldly.
ご推察の通りだ。我々は基本的に霊体だと言っただろう。故に、食事は第2、ないし第3要素となる。
Are you resistant to this too?
君たちが肉を栄養とするように、サーバントは精神と魂を栄養とする。
That's dark.
栄養を取ったところで基本的な能力は変わらないが、取り入れれば取り入れるほどタフになる。つまり、魔力の貯蔵量が上がっていく。というわけだ。
Okay, that makes some sense. But if you're comparing it to meat, do you need it to survive? Like, do you need to just, like, devour and destroy other people's souls in order to just continue existing? Yeah. To strengthen your servant, you must attack people indiscriminately.
マスターから提供される魔力だけじゃ足りないってこと?
足りなくはないが、大いに越したことはない。実力が劣る場合、弱点を武士で補うのが戦争だろ。
So if I had to guess, I'd say that the other magist definitely has a servant, possibly summoned by someone much stronger than her in her family and given to her. I'm assuming Sakura isn't, just because she was with him. And she's not very strong, and since Rin seems to know her, it seems likely that that's the other one that she was referring to. Especially since she's like, oh, Nissan. It's like, okay, then Rin's probably aware of her family situation. And most people don't seem to be. So I guess that she's relatively weak, and they're like, okay, if you want to have a chance in this, we're gonna have to do this. So, yeah.
周囲の人間からエネルギーを奪うのはマスターとしては基本的な戦略だ。そういった意味で言えばこの結界は効率がいい。
Archer's saying that if I want to win, I should kill people and steal their strength. How simple. I already knew that. That's why I think I know which path I'm going to choose. The one where we take over this boundary field and use it ourselves and just kill everyone in here.
それ勘に触るわ。二度と口にしないで、ハーチャー。
I say so while staring at the mark. For some reason, Archer sounds happy as he confidently answers.
同感だ。私も真似をするつもりはない。
Yeah, good thing we got some moral people on our side. Not that it wouldn't be interesting.
さて、それじゃ消そうか。無駄だろうけど、とりあえず邪魔をするぐらいにはなる。
You know, to like almost play a villain. I approach the mark and extend my left arm. The magic crest on my left arm is the book of magic passed down the Tsaka family. I switch on my sense. I push magical energy into my magic crest, read the part that explains the elimination of the boundary fields, and now all I have to do is activate it. Eliminate. Surgical extraction, second section. I touch the surface with my left hand and let my magical energy flow out. So at least wash the color off this mark, but...
なんだよ、消しちまうのか？もったいねえ。
Suddenly, as if to stop the erasure of the boundary field, a voice echoes over. I quickly stand up and turn around. Okay. On top of the water tower. In the sky 10 meters away, a guy's looking down at me. Deep ultramarine that melts into the night. His grin is wild and bestial smell carries on the wind. Stare, the beast is a cool one. The man in blue looks at me like an old friend, even in this situation.
これ、あなたの仕業？
いや、小細工を浪するのは魔術師の役割だ。俺たちはただ命じられたまま戦うのみ。だろ？そこの兄さんよ。
Casual, but his voice is filled with murderous intent. This guy can see Archer.
やっぱりサーバント。
Why didn't you say anything, Archer? Could you not sense him?
そうとも。で、それがわかるお嬢ちゃんは俺の敵ってことでいいのかな？
My spine freezes. A normal, light tone of voice. And it's colder than anything I've ever heard. Scary enough to make me vomit. I can tell how I should move or what my best course is. My reason is telling me absolutely not to fight this man right here.
ほう、大したもんだ。何もわからねえようで要点は抑えてやがる。ああ、失敗したなこりゃ。面白がって声をかけるんじゃなかったぜ。
The man raises his arm. It happens in an instant. That arm held nothing until now. A lance. Lancer. He holds a red weapon 2 meters long. Oh, he's an upgrade over the previous Lancer then. He has 4 bangs. Yeah. I jump to the side without thinking. I can't spare the time to consider that I can't jump full force while on the rooftop. I jump with full force to the side as if trying to smash the fence. A whirlwind brushes past my hair. I barely made it. He rushed me in an eye blink and mercilessly slashed at the space I just occupied. The blue whirlwind pursues me. There are no escapes. The fence is behind me. To my side, no, I won't make it. Hey, Rin, we have a servant. Use him. My response is fast. I run the magic crest on my left arm and symbol the magic in single measure. It lights my body in just gravity. In this instant, my body becomes light as a feather and I leap. I jump over the fence and fall from the rooftop. The wind and pressure push against my body. 15 meters to the ground, 1.7 seconds long until landing. No, that's too slow. Let's catch up.
Fox, God bless Atlas. Archer, 着地任せた。
I let Archer take the impact of the landing and start to run as soon as my feet touch the ground. First, I have to change the location. We have to go somewhere we can move around freely, not a small place like a rooftop. We have to move to a large field with no obstacles to play to the Archer's strength and mine. I run from the rooftop and school grounds in less than 7 seconds. It's more than 100 meters. My speed is so fast that normal people would see only a blur. But that's...
いや、本気でいい足だ。ここで仕留めるのはいささかもったいなさすぎるか。
meaningless against a servant. At the moment I step back, Archer steps in front, taking form. A cloudy night. In Archer's hand is a short sword that reflects the weak moonlight.
Hey.
The man crooks his mouth.
いいね。そう来なくっちゃ。話が早いやつは嫌いじゃない。
A large whirlwind. As the weapon swung at me on the rooftop, the blood-red crimson lance that tried to mercilessly slaughter me.
Lancer のサーバント。
いかにも。そういうあんたのサーバントはセイバー。
Oh, is he? Oh, that's good to know.
って感じじゃねえな。何者だ、てめえ。
There's no sign of his previous casual demeanor. Alright, I did say that he was holding a short sword. That's interesting. In response to Lancer, full of murderous intent, Archer remains silent. The distance between the two is about 5 meters. The weapon in Lancer's hand is about 2 meters. For that man with the bestial smell, I feel like the remaining 3 meters are meaningless.
まっとうな一騎打ちをするタイプじゃねえな、てめえは。ってことは、アーチャーか。
Archer doesn't respond to the sneering voice either. Confronting each other strangely. I read. And blue. The two counterfeit colored knights are already watching for the others clinching below.
いいぜ。好みじゃねえが、出会ったからにはやるだけだ。そら、獲物を出せよ、アーチャー。これでも礼はわきまえているからな。それぐらいは待ってやる。
Archer does not respond. There's nothing to say to an enemy he must defeat. That steel back of his seems to declare so. That makes me realize I'm being stupid. Archer's just waiting for my word, my command.
Archer?
I talk to his back without approaching him.
手助けはしないわ。あなたの力、ここで見せて。
Was that a laugh? He grins as if to answer my words, and the Red Knight dashes forward. Swirling gust of winds. Short sword in hand, the red bullet launches. What meets him is a blue spear thrust. With the dashing archer is a raging wind. The responding spearhead is a divine wind. The sword swung, a swing to deflect the thrust. Archer parries the thrust with a high-speed lance with his short sword. The one in red stops. The enemy did not permit Archer's rush. The enemy does not even let him get within 2 meters, the range of the spear. For a long weapon, distance is always preferred. As Lancer has a weapon almost 2 meters long, he only needs to attack when the enemy comes into his range. Thrusting an approaching enemy is easier than moving out yourself. But even so, Lancer closes the distance himself and doesn't even allow Archer to move forward. His temper is like a burning fire. The Lancer closes in with each blow, with no thoughts of stopping. With a long weapon, it's suicidal to close in to an enemy. The Spearman's tactics is to use their long range to defeat the enemy and win the battle. So, as Lancer is just advancing unchecked, he doesn't have a chance of winning. But that's just by the book. Lancer's lance shows no vulnerabilities as it strikes for the throat, shoulders, forehead, and heart. They're so fast that even the after images are blurred. I wish I could see that. As each strike of the lance repels, rebuffs, and pushes back Archer, any one of his thrusts could be called a final blow. But even as a bowman, Archer is a servant. No ordinary attack can be the final blow. Having repelled the lance aimed at his forehead, Archer closes in with a speed superior to Lancer's lance. Based on its shape, you might think the main attack of a lance is the thrust, but the basic strength of a lance is in the swings. It's because the wide swing using its long range does not allow the enemy to dodge it by stepping back. A partial retreat does not allow escape, and an attempt to counterattack will only result in a slashed stomach. But simply going forward will end up in a smashed rib from the long shaft of the lance. Archer and Lancer are similarly built. On top of that, it's hard for Archer with no heavy armor to step into range of a lance swung like a whirlwind. But thrusts are a different story. A blazing fast thrust, certain to strike you, is certainly scary. But as long as the attack targets a point, there are many ways to avoid it once you see it. As Archer did just then, hitting the shaft of the approaching lance to redirect it slightly creates an opening. It must be because he underestimated the bowman. The advantage of a long weapon is the length and freedom of range. Once Lancer has discarded these advantages himself, his defeat is not likely absolute. Because this is this. The one in red stops. A nightmare like time is reversing. The thrust is faster than the previous ones. Archer tries to parry the blow, but he gets flicked away along with his weapon. There are no openings left in Lancer's attack. No, not just that. The thrust increases speed and power without limit, and it becomes the final blow even for a servant. We were the ones that underestimated him. For that servant, for Lancer's weapon, there are no general rules about lances. Who could ever parry continuous attacks without even space to breathe between them? Archer manages to retreat a bit and parries. As a result, the distance between them opens a little bit. That distance. Lancer uses that distance as a runway to launch an even more powerful attack. The raging continuous attack is only repetition of that, but the blows themselves are godlike. 10 blows already. No, it must actually be many more times than that. The heavy rain of lance pours with yet more strength, trying to skewer Archer to death. It's not fast, but it's just skill. He thrusts like a waterfall with no change in speed. What can Archer do now that he's on the defensive? With such a short sword, he can only parry the lance. He's no way to close on Lancer, and he continues to retreat. Man, we should have figured out how he fought before this. Fuck. A vacuum of steel unfolds. Support. I have to back Archer up, but my throat won't respond. My magic is poor aim. Unless Archer gets far away from Lancer, I'll hit him with my magic as well. Such an opening would only increase Lancer's advantage. Besides, frankly, I'm captivated. This is a battle between servants. This is the Holy Grail War. This is the Holy Grail War itself, where we use heroic spirits, the highest rank familiar, whom we would never otherwise attain. Servants. Familiars are different classes that obey the 7 masters. These are the highest rank familiars called heroic spirits that the Holy Grail summons, so it's misleading to call them familiars. Originally, familiars were just beings that ran errands for the Magus. Imagine, perhaps, a cat in boots. Oh, Puss in Boots, maybe? Or a cute white bird. Or a black dog that doesn't obey its master. Something like that. I'm guessing those other two are references to. Familiars that a mere Magus can summon are of that level. Familiars are just familiars. They are only mascots that run errands for their master, so they cannot be beings stronger than their masters. Servants are different. They are the most powerful beings. Even for sorcerers, of which there are only 5 in this world, it would probably be impossible to form a contract with them. It's not just that the summoning is hard, or even that the ability of the servant surpasses that of the Magus. The servants themselves are beings above magic. I'll make it clear. Servants are heroes from the past. Myth, legend, fable, history. Fiction or not, the superhuman beings who gain concrete existence in folklore are what we call heroes. That hero becomes eternal in people's minds is no longer human after their death, and is promoted to another form of existence. Humans who bring about miracles, save people, and achieve great deeds are called heroes even after their death. After being so called, they are promoted to heroic spirits after their death and become guardians of humanity. It doesn't matter whether these people existed in reality or only in stories. It's in people's minds that create a hero. People's wishes that this is how things should be. Give them form and set them up as real. I mean, isn't Saber supposed to be like King Arthur? How does that work when a spirit very specifically goes against? Maybe it's because King Arthur was real and the reality overrode it. I don't know. Give them form and set them up as real. Authenticity does not matter. They can have form as long as they have fame as a legend and people have faith. The ultimate ideal humans have created. The greatest human people have created. These are the heroes. The heroic spirits. And of course, since they are beyond human, they cannot be controlled by humans. Well, unless you have a really good command spell. Let's use all three on that. Magus usually borrows their power only to mimic them. They cannot summon the heroic spirits themselves, but the Holy Grail made that impossibility into reality. It summons the heroic spirit beyond human control and turns it into familiar, obedient to the master. That nonsense is proof the Holy Grail is almighty. And with the passing of years ignored, the heroic spirits are summoned. The most recent from 100 years ago, the oldest from the ancient... 100 years ago. The oldest from ancient days. Oh, in terms of the heroic spirit's age. The 7 heroic spirits obey each of the 7 masters, protect them, and eliminate the masters of the enemy. Heroes from every age and country are revived into the present day in Japan, of course in Japan, to kill one another for supremacy. This is why this ritual is called the Holy Grail War. But it seems the Holy Grail has its limits too. Even the Holy Grail can act indiscriminately, call unto the spirit-like beings. Just as a form invented by humans is required for the imaginary 6th element, known as the devil, to take form. The imaginary 6th element known as the devil. What a statement. What does that mean? What? To take form, the heroic spirits also need a form to live in this world. Interesting. The form is their temporary name and the way they exist in this world. The Holy Grail has furnished classes so that the heroic spirit may take form more easily, and it only summons the heroic spirits that match these classes. It's like a passport to the present, as it sets up a role as familiar in advance. By allowing the summoned heroic spirit to take on that role, it helps the spirit take form. If there are 7 masters chosen by the Holy Grail, there are 7 servants obeying those masters. There are 7 furnished classes. The Knight of the Sword is Saber. Knight of the Lance, the Lancer. Knight of the Bow, Archer. Mounted Soldier, Rider. Right, that's what Ixander was. Magus, Caster. Silent Killer, Assassin. Mad Warrior, Berserker. Only the heroic spirits with attributes of these classes are summoned to the present to obey the master and become a servant. That is the servant system. A summoning in contract with the heroic spirit beyond human control to win the miracle beyond human grasp. The ultimate competition, held only on this ground, the one and only Holy Grail War. A loud crash. A short sword that deflected Lancer's lance flies from Archer's hand. This is Lancer's technique. A straight thrust that turns into a sweep at Archer's wrist. There's a blow that Archer could not avoid even if he'd seen it coming. There's no effective way of parrying a lance with a sword. A strong rebuff only results in stronger counterattack, and a weak rebuff does not create any openings. The important aspect of the battle between sword and lance lies in defeating the enemy when he's at the wrong range. There's no hesitation in the Lancer. His movement to push Archer back stops. He must attempt to end the match in a single instant. There's the firmly placed Lancer and the swordless Archer clash. In that instant, the Lancer thrusts like a flash of light. It cannot even be seen. Foreneck, neck, heart. 3 shots are launched, and he won a fatal blow. But the flash is too fast to see is repelled by a shining blade. In Archer's hand is the short sword again. Sword like before, a Chinese sword like a hatchet. Chinese sword, okay. But the biggest difference is... a pair of swords, really very Archer-like at the moment. In his hands are matched swords, mirror images of each other. A Lancer's lance flies. As to finish Archer off, the lance moves faster and faster. Archer defends with a burning spirit. His hawk-like eyes say he will not retreat anymore. No, they will only advance from now on. The clashing sounds are like well-orchestrated music. The two steels clang against each other. Sparking clashes increase in rhythm without pause. The battle between the two is like a vacuum. It sucks the air out around them, and it seems like anything approaching them would be cut to pieces. In reality, it only lasts an instant. But for me looking on, it seems to take an infinitely long time. Lancer tries to not let Archer near him, while Archer advances using his swords as a shield. Over 100 blows have been thrown, and Archer loses his sword. Every time. Oh, is he just infinitely calling more swords every time? But it's only for a moment. Archer has a sword in his hand the next instant, forcing Lancer back a little each time. That's cool. I just have all the swords. That's pretty cool. Lancer finally admits his carelessness. That even though he doesn't know who was before him, he will be the loser if he dismisses him as a mere bowman. Then the distance widens. Probably to recover, Lancer pulls a large distance between them. His speed is extraordinary. Archer's charge was out of this world, but it was so slow compared to Lancer. The movements of his retreat had panther-like speed and agility.
27. それだけ弾き飛ばしてもまだあるとはな。
Lancer mutters in irritation. No, it's more like confusion. I feel the same way. Seriously, aren't you supposed to be Archer? According to Father, Servant carries only one weapon. The weapon's filled with magical energy, so it's not like something that can be created one after another like Archer was just doing. Which means his weapon is... Well... I do remember that one Fate Zero where they had like a treasure hoard that he was pulling things from to use his weapons. I think he was Archer in that. Servants are heroes that sublimate their spirits after death, equaling the holy spirits. Actually, how does a bowman actually work with the arrows? Do they get to like bring more and more bows until... Do they have like infinite number of bows? Is his swords his bows? Or maybe he's Archer because he can... Or not, but sorry, bows. Arrows. Maybe swords are like his arrows. And it's like... He's not actually an Archer, but he has like equivalents. To put it another way, they're like devils or angels. They are powerful familiars on their own, but their most powerful weapon is their proof of heroism, a magical item called their Noble Phantasm. A Noble Phantasm is a weapon or armor, or the servant used when they were a hero. It's treated as a last resort. The Noble Phantasm is the one and only weapon for a servant. This is because the Noble Phantasm is an ultimate weapon without equal. The lance that Lancer is using will show its power as a Noble Phantasm when Lancer deems it necessary. The Noble Phantasm is an impressive weapon by itself, but its true ability is to release all its power using its true name. Heroes' weapons which rule over all others, and which have killed dragons and gods. Servants activate their Noble Phantasms using their magical energy. It's much like magic. Servants recreate the destructions in legend using their Noble Phantasm as the catalyst. Noble Phantasms are never disposable. The swords that Archer brought must be excellent, but they cannot be his Noble Phantasm. He is the servant Archer, so the Noble Phantasm he conceals must be a bow. Must be. Definitely 100%.
どうしたランサー様子見とは君らしくないな先ほどの勢いはどこに行った
Must be, of course. has to be a bow. 100%. There's never been any twist on it before. Lancer's irritation is understandable. Even though Lancer is fought as a spearman, Archer fended him off as a swordsman, which means Archer hasn't shown any of his real abilities yet. So it's only natural for Lancer to feel ghastly.
いいぜ、聞いてやるよ。てめえどこの英雄だ？二頭使いの旧兵なぞ聞いたことがない。
そういう君は分かりやすいな。僧兵には最速の英雄が選ばれるというが、君はその中でもえりすぐりだ。これほどの宗師は世界に3人といまい。加えて獣のごとき敏捷さといえばおそらく1人。
ほう、よく言ったアーチャー。
At that instant, his vast murderous intent makes me forget to breathe. Lancer's arm moves. This is different from before. It stands free from contempt. A spearhead is lowered to strike the ground, and only his stare pierces Archer.
ならば食らうか。我が必殺の一撃を。
止めはしない。いずれ越えねばならぬ敵だ。
Lancer's body sinks down. At the same time, a chill like thorns fills the schoolyard. The air freezes. Not a metaphor, it literally freezes. All the mana in the air is frozen. The only person allowed to breathe here is the warrior called Lancer. The lance in Lancer's hands is unmistakably a demonic one. And now it is waiting to take its true form in the moment it strikes.
まずい。
He'll be beaten. I don't know what kind of noble phantasm that is, but Archer will be beaten. It's implausible since this is the first time I felt such an intuition, but there's no doubt about it. Archer will die when the lance is thrust. It is determined. Literally, Lancer's lance is the embodiment of inescapable death. Archer will be defeated. Archer will die when Lancer pierces his heart. And yet, even though I know what's going to happen, I can't even help him. Because if I move even a finger, I'll trigger the attack. So, if anything can stop this battle, stop Archer's defeat, it would be... It would be the chance appearance of a stranger who we have all overlooked. The ghastly air coming from Lancer disappears. The sounds of fleeing footsteps. That figure is definitely wearing a white school uniform.
生徒、まだ学校に残ってたの？
そのようだな。おかげで命拾いしたが。
Oh, so Lancer just retreated. Archer says calmly, well, we were suddenly saved, but...
失敗した。ランサーに気を取られて周りの気配に気づかなかった。で、アーチャー、あんた何してんの？
見てわからないか。手が空いたから休んでいる。
That's fair.
なわけないでしょ。ランサーはどうしたのよ。
さっきの人影を追ったよ。目撃者だからな。おそらく消しに行ったのだろう。
For an instant, my thoughts stopped.
追ってアーチャー。私もすぐに追いつくから。
Archer goes after Lancer immediately.
くそ、なんて間抜け。
My carelessness. It's the rule of Magi to eliminate any witnesses. Which is why if one didn't want to do that, one just had to allow no witnesses. I've done that until today, so I wouldn't have to make the mistake today of all days. A night where the evening moonlight is obscured. A student is lying on the cold hallway floor, and Archer standing still. He's staring silently at the student. A smell hits my nose. It's like iron, right? The blood on the floor makes clear that it's the smell of death.
追ってアーチャー。ランサーはマスターのところに戻るはず。せめて相手の顔ぐらい把握しないと。悪い。
Archer goes after Lancer. I'm left alone with the student lying on the floor. I can't look straight at him. I mean... but I must. This is my fault. This is my fault. This is my fault. Ever since I was a child, ever since I became successor to Saga, I've been preparing for something like this. There's no good or evil for Magi. I've always told myself that this road is only my blood and the blood of others, so...
Lancer の槍で一月か。心臓やられてちゃ助からない。
I don't know how long it's been since Lancer killed him. Was he lucky or unlucky to be pierced through the heart? I guess Lancer's attack isn't a simple external wound, as the flow of blood from the rupture isn't too severe. It's not too severe, but it's all over when the brain doesn't get any more blood. Now, basically, if his heart were pierced, he should have died instantly.
その割にはまだ死んでないってのはすごいな。
He isn't? Yes. He's still breathing faintly as to give his last scream. That only lasts a few more seconds. He can't heal his own wounds, and I don't have enough power to save him either.
顔を見ないと。それぐらいはしなくちゃ。
Game is telling me we have to know who this is. I mean, I have a pretty good guess, but I try to touch a head, facing the ground, and realize my fingertips won't move. They're trembling. This game really does like to play around with identities, doesn't it? Like, hints at stuff that might happen, but it's like, oh, I'm talking about this thing. It's a pronoun game. It's like he, the boy, the guy, the thing, the student, etc., etc. The trembling, I wonder why. I'm used to such things. I had to make these kind of choices many times before. Lost many things due to my mistakes and my selfishness. That's why I'm ready for a day like this. That's why... So why am I so angry at myself?
ごめんね。見とるぐらいはしてあげる。
I control my trembling fingers and my failing knees with my will. Look at the face of the student. A huge smacking sound. It really feels like I've been hit on the head with a hammer. Well, I might have been hit on the head with a hammer.
やめてよね。なんだってあんたが。
I grit my teeth. Not to suppress my trembling. I'm really pissed off. Why is it him? Why did it have to be him? I'm not mad at Lancer for killing a witness quickly and perfectly, just as a servant should do. I'm just angry at him for staying late at this place on this day. Sakura's face flashes in my mind. She'll definitely cry. And I recall one red-tinted day after school a long time ago. A distant sunset. Someone always running alone. And a boring girl staring at that from far away. And before me, the corpse of someone who happened to get involved. There is a way. I might fail and lose my resorts in the my last resort in the process, but there is still a way. Well, now I'll lose my last resort whether I succeed or fail, so the results for me won't change. It's a mistake. The fact of his death is already determined. It's my fault for not noticing the things around me. It's his fault for unluckily staying late. I mean, it feels sort of obvious who it is, so I don't need to go that far. Yes, because this is what my father, who gave me nothing else left from just for me, a powerful chunk of magical energy, a reliable last resort to win through this battle. Oh, the neck, a precious, precious thing just for me.
だからなんだってのよ、バカ。
I shake the feeling off and kneel in front of the one who became a corpse in another second.
やっちゃった。
Oh, just knowing what mana transfer is. I don't have that turned off, do I? Because I have no idea if I'm like actually will end up skipping things. I don't think I have it turned off. No, those are on. Whatever. Oh my. The pendant in my hand becomes lighter. My father's memento is drained to almost emptiness. It falls into what used to be a dying body.
まあ、仕方ないか。
Yes, it can't be helped. I didn't have the power skills to revive someone with a damaged heart, damaged blood vessels, on the verge of brain death on top of that. That's why I had to make up for my lack of skill with this powerful object.
まだ息があるのが運の尽きだった。完全に死んでいたら、どんなに魔力の蓄えがあっても蘇生なんてできなかったし。
But since he was still alive, I just did what I could and ended up saving his life. Yeah, we're fucked down the line, aren't we?
失敗してたら目も当てられなかったけど、成功したからいっか。ええ、正直に言えば充実感あるしね。こういう経験も悪くはなかったわ。
Yeah, I'm just bluffing.
行こう。済んだことは済んだこと。こいつが目を覚ます前に帰らないと。
Yes, there's no need for me to stay here any longer and play the pronoun game. Archer should be following Lancer, so I should go home by myself. I wasted on my way back, I remember. I left the pendant at school. It's just a pendant now that the magical energy's been drained out of.
もういいか。
I have no more use for that pendant. Okay, so he's gonna go give it back or something like, oh, you're always wearing that, right? Okay, actually, she just found it recently, didn't she? Okay, maybe not. Sure, it might have been a bit of, there might have been a bit of magical energy left in it, but surely less than just, the 10 jewels I have. What my father intended to leave for me was enough magical energy to win the Holy Grail war. So now, without magical energy, that thing is meaningless. I enter the house without saying anything and sit on the sofa. Archer isn't back yet. I sigh and listen to the clock for a few minutes.
いい加減頭を切り替えなくちゃ。あれだけの戦いを経験しておいて、何ほうけてるんだ私。
I jump up and brew some tea. There are so many things to think about. Most importantly, the servants. I've just witnessed a battle between servants I had previously only understood intellectually.
ランサーか。宝具を使われそうになった時は焦ったけど、実際使ってたら正体は分かったのよね。
Maybe? Does it matter that much? I mean, the identities mean something, but they'd probably be more a key to the noble phantasm, right? Than anything else, right? I'm not really sure if you're using the other to figure the other thing out, there's much value there. The easiest way to beat an enemy servant is to learn their identity. Ignoring for a moment the idiot who doesn't even know his for the idiot who doesn't even know his own identity, the biggest weak point of a servant is their true name. Is it? I don't remember this. Might have been Fate 0. Probably in Fate 0. Discovering the servant's true name, in other words, figuring out their identity, should let you take a guess at what kind of noble phantasm they might have. It goes without saying, but since servants are heroic spirits, they have a legend associated with them. If you figure out their legend, you should be able to figure out most of their abilities. Servants are called by their class name because they want to hide their true names. Because the more famous a hero is, the more people know about their weapons and their weaknesses. A heroic spirit that becomes a servant never gives out their true identity. The only one who knows that knows the servants' identities are the masters. Well, most masters. There is even a tactic understanding that the masters hide their servants' identities while trying to discover the identities of the others. This is the 5th Holy Grail War. The qualities of the servants are determined by the ranks of the summoned heroic spirits. It goes without saying that the more famous heroes and the heroes with better weapons are stronger. But it's difficult to summon such heroic spirits. To summon a heroic spirit, one must have a connection with them, such as a weapon they use during their lives. Even the Magic Association has few of such things. So generally, one will summon a heroic spirit that suits them, like I did. A servant's strength is determined by the rank of the heroic spirit. But it's not that simple, as even the most powerful heroic spirits may have a hard time depending on the class they are assigned to. That's because of the special abilities assigned to each class, the possibility of the weak defeating the strong. The 7 classes each have a different additional ability, and one even has a chance of defeating an opponent of a higher rank depending on the ability's affinity. So why are all these rules in place anyways? It's so specific at a point. I mean, I sort of get it, but why? Maybe it's just one of those things. It's like, oh, this is how it works. There's not really a reason. It's just how it works, sort of thing, and they might never explain it, but it would be interesting if there was an actual reason behind all this very specific organization of how things are supposed to work. Almost arbitrary, some of it. Let's take an example. An infamous hero has defeated a great hero 4 times in the past. As far as I know, the most powerful servant is Saber. In all the previous 4 wars, Saber has made it to the final fight. Oh, dude, we have that much information. Interesting. It said that the three classes, Saber, Lancer, and Archer, have strong magical resistance. To put it simply, magic is pretty much useless against them. It's because they are fighters who fought through the age of myths, when magics were used widely. Okay. Magics that Magi use now would probably just dissipate by touching them. Anyway, that's why these three classes are considered the basics and the best. Another that's worthy of mention is the Servant Berserker. The heroic spirit summoned this class loses their sanity. Just as the name implies, they become a mad warrior puppet of their master. The benefit from this is a strengthening of their power, far exceeding the powers they had when they were alive. However, the more powerful a servant becomes, the greater the burden imposes on the master. In the past, masters who summoned Berserker couldn't control the rampaging servants and destroyed themselves by running out of magical energy. No exceptions. The winner and losers of the Holy Grail War are largely determined by the abilities of the servants. Well, I expect there are ways to win it by the master's efforts, but it's basically a fight between the servants. That's why a master should be very careful when summoning a servant. Like I wasn't. Woo! I silently consider the plan we should make from now on. The clock, fixed already, strikes 11 while I do so, and Archer comes home.
おかえりなさい。成果はどう？
すまない。失敗した。よほど用心深いマスターだったのだろう。少なくともこちら側の町にはランサーのマスターはいなかった。
Okay. I wonder if that soccer girl lives on the other side of town. Interesting. As I expected, Lancer was alone, and it seems his master isn't the type to show up for battles personally.
そう。まあ、簡単にはいかないわよね。
With their master. Assuming they're the ones who set up the magic circle. They might not be. It might have been someone who just stumbled upon it. So, it can't be helped. Let's consider what happened tonight as a tuition fee for the lessons learned.
覇気がないな、マスター。いつもの伊勢はどうした？まさか、先の一戦でおじけづいたというのはなしだぞ。君が
Archer protests silently that we should do so. I see. I guess I look depressed.
そんなわけないでしょ。私が打って出ないのはね、単に無駄手間をしたくないだけなんだから。
無駄手間をしたくない？
だってまだマスターの数が揃ってないでしょ。今夜のはやむなしだったけど、開戦の合図があるまで戦わないわ。それが聖杯戦争のルールだって父さんは言ってたし。
そうか。君の父親もマスターだったのか。
Archer nods, understanding. Then Archer makes a tripled face and starts to ponder something. Where is your father? Oh, I wonder what might have happened to him previously.
何よ。何か言いたいことでもあるの？
ああ、一つ聞き忘れていた。リン。君は幼い頃からマスターになるべく育てられ、それに従ってきたのだろう。
当たり前じゃない。そりゃいきなりマスターに任命される魔術師もいるそうだけど、私は別よ。
そうだろう。なら目的が党にあるはずだ。私はそれを聞き忘れていた。主の望みを知らなければ私も剣を預けられない。
Swear your sword. Are you really a swordsman still? Okay.
リン。それで君の願いは何だ？
I wonder. To win.
願い？そんなの別にないけど。
何？
I am fighting for the right to have one wish. What do you want to wish? I don't know. Stuff? Maybe I'll wish for a pony. Oh, a unicorn! Dude, Archer, we're gonna get a unicorn. It'll be red and black just like us. Maybe with a little white tuft of hair at the top. Oh, white horn! A white horn, you can have your color scheme. No, oh, perfect, we'll turn you into a unicorn. And you can be around forever. And you can talk. Oh my goodness. Why am I even going this through? I don't know. Oh, Archer's making a funny face.
そんなはずはあるまい。聖杯とは願いを叶える万能の杯だ。マスターになるということは聖杯を手に入れるということ。 だという。
Archer is asking with a serious expression. I see. The master's wish after obtaining the Holy Grail isn't irrelevant to the servant. But it's strange. Father said the servants have wishes as well. But that is only their wish. I don't think Archer should be concerned because I don't have any wishes.
よし、明確な望みがないのであれば、漠然とした願いはどうだ。例えば、世界を手にするといった風な。
Oh, you went to something quick. Okay.
なんで？世界なんてとっくに私のものじゃない。
And her ego is showing again. Wow. Oh my goodness.
あのね、アーチャー。世界ってのはつまり自分を中心とした価値観でしょ？そんなものは生まれた時から私のものよ。そんな世界を支配しろって言うんなら、私はとっくに世界を支配している。
Oh man, that was almost profound. Not really, but almost. Archer looks at me with a troubled expression. I'm amazed. The guy really is hard-headed.
バカな。聖杯とは望みを叶える力、現実の世界を手にできる力だぞ。それを求めるというのに何も望まないというのか、君は。
だって世界征服もめんどくさいし、そんな無駄なことを願っても仕方がないでしょ。あなた割と想像力が貧困ね。
Says the person with no wish.
理解に苦しむな。それでは何のために戦う？
To win?
そこに戦いがあるからよ、はーちゃん。ついでにもらえるものはもらっておく。聖杯がなんだかは知らないけど、いずれ欲しいものができたら使えばいいだけでしょ。人間生きていれば欲しいものなんて限りないんだし。
つまり君は
I wish for 3 more wishes.
ええ、
Infinite wishes.
ただ勝つために戦うの、あーちゃん。
Archer's shoulders slump. Maybe he's disappointed in my opinions, but it seems he's finally relaxed.
参った。確かに君は私のマスターにふさわしい。
Ah, I haven't heard you with that kind of comment, so I wish he'd stop saying such things.
サーバントにマスターを選ぶ権利はないけど、一応聞いとく。なんでは
言うまでもない。君は間違いなく最強のマスターだ。使える相手としてこれ以上のものはない。
そう、ありがとう。あなたに言われるなら世辞ってわけじゃなさそうだし。
I look away because I'm embarrassed. I find out to deal with Archer because he speaks frankly like this even though he's so cynical. Well, I'm honestly happy that he trusts me. I trust Archer and he trusts me. I don't think the sense of solidarity is a bad thing.
さて、ならば一息入れようか。7人目のマスターが現れるにせよ、それは今すぐというわけでも。ちょっと待て、リン。君。
飾りってペンダントのこと？はあ、あれなら忘れてきちゃった。もう何の力もないものだし、別に必要ないでしょ。
それはそうだが、君がそう言うならいいが。
Wait, you're not gonna ask what you used it for?
ええ、父さんの形見だけど、別に思い出はあれだけってわけじゃない。
よくはない。そこまで強くあることはないだろう、リン。
So, saying, Archer takes out the pens and I left at the school. Really? You had it and you approached it like interesting. Was that a test?
拾いに行ってくれたんだ、あーちゃん。
もう忘れるな。それはリンにしか似合わない。
Okay, so the guy I revived isn't gonna like come to the door like, yeah, I found this when I woke up. As if he's embarrassed, Archer looks away as he hands me the pendant.
そう。じゃあ、ありがとう。
I accepted. To be honest, I don't know if I should be embarrassed or cool about it. The pendant is as it was. As expected, there's no magical energy left in it. You sure? Well, there's none left now, I guess is what I'm saying. Empty and magical energy, just an expensive but ordinary jewel, and it doesn't hold any power. But as Archer would put it, even if there's no power left in this pendant, it still has something, it still has meaning, something my father specifically left for me. Then maybe I can just laugh off the fact that I helped that guy by sacrificing my trump card.
What the?
Something clicks in my head. I wasn't thinking straight back then because of my regret, but thinking about it calmly, I missed something.